Hello and welcome to BFCA. In the last video, you heard what IR35 is and when a contract might be caught by it. In this video, you'll hear what factors are important to test a contract for IR35. Established case law has laid down a pattern for us to follow here. We need to look at the contract between the limited company and their client, be that the staffing company or end client, the actual working arrangements on a day-to-day basis, and potentially any other contracts that may be in place, for example the contract between the staffing company and the end client. The big picture, a view from standing back and looking at the business in which the worker's operating. So we need to look at not only the written contract, but the normal daily working pattern at the client company and the worker's own business. We think as advising accountants that being outside IR35 is a mindset as well as a contractual matter. Think of yourself as a business owner and act like a professional contractor at all times, especially when you're on a contract site, never forgetting that you run your own business as an independent professional freelancer, whilst obviously remembering that you need to keep your client happy. Now that we know what to test, we need to find out what to test against, the criteria on which we'll base our test. Once again, we can turn to case law for this, and we find that the leading case, accepted over and over again in status cases, is Ready Mixed Concrete versus Minister of Pension 1968. This case is fully described on HMRC's website in their manual ESM 7030. But Judge McKenna's decision can be quoted exactly to see how to identify an engagement that's one of employment. Judge McKenna said, "A contract of service exists if these three conditions are fulfilled. The servant agrees that in consideration of a wage or other remuneration, he will provide his own work and skill in the performance of some service for his master. He agrees, expressly or impliedly, that in the performance of that service he will be subject to the other's control in a sufficient degree to make that other master. The other provisions of the contract are consistent with its being a contract of service." From this decision derives the irreducible minimum of 3 factors that need to be present for employment to exist. These can be summarised as personal service, control, and mutuality of obligation. The important point is that an employment contract will only exist where all 3 factors are present, and therefore no employment contract can exist where any one of these factors is not present. To summarise, for a contract to be outside IR35, you'll need to demonstrate at the 3 levels of the test that at least one of the irreducible minimum of 3 is missing. And it's also important to look at the big picture too. So how would you demonstrate this? We'll look at that in the next 3 videos in this series. Thanks for listening.